Hi, my name is Jacqueline. I'm Senior Animal Care Staff here at the Ojai Raptor Center, and I want to talk to you about something really important today, so I hope that you will stay and listen to this entire segment. Yesterday we received 2 fledgling great horned owl patients. You might have seen the intake exam of one of them, and while we found absolutely nothing physically wrong with either of these patients, neither one of them needed to even be brought into our center. What happened was both of those patients were essentially kidnapped by accident from their families, from Good Samaritans who thought that they were rescuing them. And this happens so often with this particular species every single year for every wildlife rehabilitation facility. And that's because great horned owls have a unique natural history that a lot of people aren't aware of. So first of all, great horned owls make up the majority of species that we receive at the Raptor Center for the entire year. We receive over 100 of them a year, and over 80% of that number come in as orphans during nesting season. And of course, some of these orphans are legitimate orphans who need to be raised in captivity, but a lot of them are accidentally kidnapped with good intention, always. And so the reason why this happens so often is because great horned owls go through a unique phase, much younger than any other species besides perhaps Cooper's hawks, called branching. And what that looks like is they will climb up and down the tree to their nesting site, and they'll hang out on the ground exploring their area. And so Good Samaritans will find these owls. A lot of times they will be on the ground by themselves. They don't see, and again, they look very young. They're covered in down feathers, so they look far too young to be on their own, and they are. The thing is that people don't see is that their family is around, and that little owl can climb back up the tree. So people thinking that they're rescuing them, they remove them from their environment and bring them into care. So we want to try and reduce some of these numbers that are coming into care. Of course, we do the best possible job that we can preparing these birds for a successful life in the wild, but it's always ideal for any wild animal to be raised by their own families in the wild. So we're going to go back. We do isolate all of our patients for 24 hours just to make sure that everything looks normal for observation, make sure they're eating. I just looked and both of them have eaten their meals from last night. They both look perfectly normal and healthy. So we're going to take them out. We're going to combine them because it's unnatural for them to be by themselves. We want to group them into groups. So I have prepared a secondary enclosure in the back of the property. It's kind of like a great horned owl kindergarten, if you will. It has branches and things for them to explore. So we're going to take them out of this hospital. We're going to bring them out there, and then of course eventually in a few weeks they will be moved into a large aviary, taught to hunt live prey, and then of course eventually released back to the wild. And this is just a video that I pulled off of YouTube so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This fledgling is the same exact age as the 2 in the cages behind me, and as you can see, proficiently climbing up the tree, and they will do this even younger. So here is the secondary enclosure that I prepared for these 2 great horned owl fledglings that I was talking about. We will definitely be adding more great horned owls to this enclosure as we receive them. As I said before, we receive over 100 every year, so I know we'll be receiving a lot more than these 2 guys. And that's a defensive posture that he or she is doing right now, which is a really good sign. We do not want them to be habituated to us at all. And imprinting only happens really within the first 4 weeks of their lives, so they are past the imprintable phase at this point. So we'll just let them be now, explore their new digs. I came back out here a few hours later to feed them their dinner, and lo and behold, they have made their way to the highest perches in the enclosure. There's no way of getting to these perches without flying, so that just goes to show you these 2 fledglings, if you ever see a great horned owl, even though they're all fluffy and they have their baby down like that, they are probably just fine. And that's not, of course, to say that every case is going to be okay. They could be injured, so it's really just best before making the decision on your own to remove a baby bird from its environment to contact your local wildlife rehabilitators, and they will talk you through it. We usually ask for photos, maybe video, and we can determine if it's safe to leave them or if they need to be rescued.